It all started with three countries: Esquerdo, Surto, and Pora. They all had relatively good relations. Pora was run by President Pipe. Surto was run by President Orange. And Esquerdo was run by President Stop. Oh, he's dead. So they needed a new leader, so they held an election. And there were many great candidates, but one that stuck out was Leaf. Leaf was, how do I put this? Clinically insane. In fact, at one point, he pulled out a switchblade during a debate and stabbed himself and said, "A lesser man would bleed out." And then he bled out and the paramedics had to save him. Leaf did manage to clean up his act, along with the blood, but it only made him get third place, which made him a little upsetty spaghetti. President Plug was elected, and as they drove him across town, an assassin threw a handmade grenade at him, and the explosion was so strong it blew up his face and his head into the crowd. As for President Plug, it pretty much decapitated him instantly. And only 30 minutes into his presidency, he was already dead. They were never able to track the identity of the assassin or any connections to Leaf, but what was more important was the government. They never had vice presidents, they just had executives, so they decided to make the runner-up president. Light bulb? Huh. That's weird. I guess that just leaves us with... Oh no. The runner-up just kinda went missing, which left Leaf in charge. And he was very different from all the other previous leaders. He was fond of President Lunchbox, who was a leader of a common enemy within the nation for decades. So Leaf being suspicious caused Surto to get suspicious of Esquerdo. The three countries had really good relations and lots of trade and even helped each other in a war against Lunchbox. But now this new guy was coming along and messing everything up. So Orange went to Pipe and was like, "Hey, I don't think we should be associating with this guy anymore. You guys don't like me? I just think we should see other people. But I made friendship bracelets." Leaf felt betrayed by his allies, and he blamed it entirely on Orange. They began sending a bunch of letters to him, calling him a stinky poopy head. And when Orange replied back, saying to suck up his pride, he told Orange to suck up his dick. Tensions between the two countries began rising, and it looked like war was increasingly inevitable. The straw that broke the camel's back, though, was Esquerdo bombing many Surto supply ships. Orange said one more attack, and it was war. The Leaf responded by bombing Orange's hometown. And just like that, Orange had declared war. He began an invasion on Esquerdo and noticed a weaker defense, so he punched right through it, and a neighboring defense also looked pretty weak because of it, and he smacked that one down too and enveloped a different one. Leaf tried desperately to punch through the bulge, but they held out, even through air bombings. But still, his efforts were fruitless. Leaf was getting worried that he wouldn't win the war, so he decided to outbrain him and make it look like he had a weak spot, but then when he tried to attack it, he juked him out and smacked him out of there. This gave him enough confidence to finally attack the bulge, but he was still too weak and got defeated, and Orange expanded. Now he was even more worried at another defeat, and people were already starting to grow sour towards him. Leaf knew he was gonna need some help, so he went to his good old pal Lunchbox and struck up a deal for an alliance in exchange for some money. Wanting revenge and glory for the previous war that he lost against Orange, he accepted. This scared the shit out of Orange, and he knew he wouldn't be able to take on both of them. So he went to Pipe once again and was like, "Hey, I need your help with this war. I can't take them both on. Can you please help?" Nuh-uh. Together they cut off the bulge and starved it out, and then invaded straight into Surto. They were heading straight towards the main city, Fantaville. He tried several times to stop them, but was unsuccessful, but a sudden heat wave paused their invasion. Orange saw this as an opportunity as a weakened army, and began airstriking it. The generals decided that it would be better for them to trek through the heat wave than to take all these air bombings. So a weakened army marched straight towards Fantaville. This gave enough time for Orange to circle the city. So by the time they got there, it was a huge fight. Many battles were taking place, but a sloppy move done by Orange caused a small portion of the army to get inside of Fantaville. But what they weren't expecting was the citizens to fight back. They were shooting at them, throwing furniture, Molotovs, and even babies. "I didn't want to pay child support, father. Why have you betrayed me in this way?" I ain't touching that. They weren't expecting this and pulled back, which allowed Orange to take them out, and eventually they sweeped out Leaf and Lunchbox. They were going straight for a counter-revolution, with Pipe finally stepping up. It was going to be a massive victory. Holy shit. They're coming. What are we gonna do? All our forces are down, but I'm sure if we just... Lunchbox? Lunchbox was having a small little problem back at home. It was called something like a revolution, maybe? Yeah, people hated Lunchbox. They were starving, they were poor, they were sick of living on the street, which eventually bubbled up to people storming through his palace, shooting him 3 times in the stomach, then throwing him out a window, and then he got stabbed and beaten to death. Ouchie wawa. President Bullet took charge, and he immediately pulled out of the war. And without his support, Esquerdo fell easily. He eventually had to sue for peace, causing him to lose a large chunk of land and had to demilitarize a lot. And then Leif went on to be the greatest president ever after learning from his mistakes. Nah, I'm just kidding, he got assassinated 2 weeks later.